This is an example of working with Literate software. I have a Literate program on the web called Clojure.pamphlet. First, we fetch a copy. A Literate program is designed to communicate from human to human, and also, as a secondary effect, to communicate to a machine. I have been writing a Literate version of Clojure. The Clojure.pamphlet file is a standard LaTeX document that contains an explanation of the ideas in Clojure, as well as their reduction to practice in code. Clojure.pamphlet contains a complete, runnable version of Clojure. We are going to demonstrate three things. First, we show how to rebuild Clojure up to a running REPL. Second, we demonstrate how to add and extract code and text. Third, we show some shortcuts for non-code edits. Once you have seen this demo, you should be able to maintain and modify a Literate version of Clojure. So as you can see, we have the file. We edit this file and look for tangle.c. This is a piece of C code which will extract pieces of code and chunks from this document. So we put it into a file called tangle.c. Open a REPL. And you see we have the file. So we're going to compile that. And now we have three files. Now we're going to use tangle, which takes two arguments. The document, which is a Literate piece of software, the chunk we want. We're going to stick that chunk into the makefile. And now we have four files. We type make. What's happening here is that the makefile is using tangle to extract the Java code and the Clojure code and put it into the proper directory structure. We then run the standard build.xml from Clojure, and that compiles the Java file, which has 139 source files. It also compiles the Clojure core code, as well as the Clojure extensions. Being good software engineers, of course, what we're going to do is compile each of the test files and run the tests. Notice all of this has come from the single document that we had. This is a Literate piece of software, of course, and the document is important. So the next step that we do is build the document. This will generate a PDF file using DVI PDFM, DVI PDF. And when this completes, this will leave us in a running REPL. Let's rename this buffer to REPL, split the buffer, and so now what we'd like to do is open a shell, and you can see that we have a Clojure.pdf. So let's open that, and we can look at the section on, say, constraints, and we'll modify that. So let's look for constraints. There we go. And let's add some text. We can create preconditions to a function that can test that the arguments satisfy the constraints we require. For instance, we might want to guarantee even number. So now that we have the text explaining what we're doing, let's add a chunk. So we have an add function which takes an x and a y, has a precondition, even y, and we're going to return the result of x and y. Let's take that code, add it to the REPL, and we finished that piece of code, so let's add the chunk, and let's do an example. So add 2 and 2. And that generated 4. Let's add some text about that. We would say if the constraint is satisfied, the function executes normally. However, if the constraint is violated, we get an error. So let's try that one. So as you can see, we got an assertion error. We don't need this noise out here. And we'll end that as a verbatim. So we've actually modified the code. We've modified the whole document. And if we want, we can go back to our shell and type make. Now the full make with no arguments is going to tangle out the Clojure Java code and the Clojure core code. It's going to run build.xml. It's going to compile the Java, compile the Clojure, run all of the tests. Remember what we're trying to do here. We have shown how to rebuild Clojure up to a running REPL. That was the first thing we tried to show. Here we demonstrate how we can add chunks and text. So we're running LaTeX on the document again. We're rebuilding the PDF. Preview will be aware of the fact that we've rebuilt the PDF. So as soon as this completes, when we go over and we choose this particular file, we'll see that we just have the update that we had. Now let's look at something much simpler. We'll go all the way to the top of the file, and we notice that we have a small s there. So let's go and fix that. And we'll make that a capital S. Save that away here, and we can make shorter paths. Since we only changed something that has something to do with the text, we can make with PDF only. And you'll notice we did not rebuild Java at this point. And there you see we made a change to the document, made a simple update, and things have changed. And that is a demonstration of how you can do shortcuts on the edits. So now you've seen this video, you should be able to maintain and modify a literate version of Clojure.